and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Apex Greatness. I was like, what are you doing? Man. What is that? Is that like an old school match?
Yes.
Oh my God. Is that from like a booklet that you break apart?
Yeah.
Yes! That's fucking great. I did not see that coming. But this is Apex Greatness. I am your host, Russell Broderick. This way
Dario's wrong.
is Dario Albuquerque. Off camera is the very popular Lindsay Lehman.
Hi, how's it going?
What's up, guys? It is almost playoff season. It is, this season flew by, obviously, because there were less games, but like I felt like we just did our preview like not very long ago at all. And we're sitting here getting ready to do our all NBA team predictions. And oh man.
What? He just wow the
I had the same exact thought that you did. I was like, oh my Lord.
Yo, that's crazy. They better have called foul on that shit too. They don't look like they did.
But
I love the disrespect when they stare you down afterwards. That's how it gotta be.
But this was hard doing all NBA teams.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially like the third team. Like it was like so difficult because it's like at that point you're like leaving people out, and it's like I don't know.
So how many guys do you think are averaging more than 20 points a game this year?
This year?
Yeah,
I'm going
because I know I made light of that midway through the season, so I want to see if
I'm going 37.
You're saying 37? I'll say 26. Lindsay, what do you think?
You said averaging more than 20 points, right?
Yes, amount of players averaging more than 20 points a game.
32.
Yeah.
32. All right. You guys think it's bigger than me, but you guys would probably be right because there was a lot of guys when we looked. There was more than 30 when we looked last time.
Gang shit.
So when we go down to 20, 20.2, the last guy is Scary Terry Rozier. These are all the guys that are qualifying.
32. Yo, on the dot. Nah, Lindsay.
32 on the dot. Lindsay, you're a savage.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Sweet.
32. So there's 32 guys averaging over 20 points a game. That is a shit ton.
Yeah.
Because we were doing LeBron's legacy breakdown not too long ago, looking at like the aughts, right?
Yeah.
Before 2010, and there was like less than 20 guys putting up 20 points a game.
So I have a question about that.
Okay.
So and this is just because I listened to this podcast this morning. So
yeah.
Rachel Nichols mentioned that she was like, is it because the players are more talented or because the teams are working on their defense less, they're practicing less and shit like that? Like, and I do think that that's like a really smart way to look at it too, because I don't know, I just don't think there's that much greater talent than the other years, I guess. But I'm also like I kind of am old school about that shit.
I'm definitely not going to disagree, but I think it's probably a combo of both. Because you also got to think about all the injuries we've had this year too.
Yeah.
And that's going to greatly affect how these guys play each and every night. You know what I mean? Because think about all the injuries that's knock people out. There's got to be a ton of injuries that are like little knickknacks that are affecting play. You know what I mean? Yes. So I think.
Do you feel like this year was more boring than previous years because of the injuries? Because I feel like the injuries kind of plagued almost every superstar.
For really. Sure. So we're gonna talk about it, but outside of Joker and Westbrook, there's like the amount of guys who have played 60 games so far is very small.
Oh yeah, yep.
And there's only 70 games in this season, right? 70?
Yeah, 73.
73, excuse me. Yeah. So the fact that none of these guys have even played 60 and we're almost done, this is the last week, is kind of crazy. And that's what's throwing off the All-NBA team votes. It's why I have no fucking idea who's really going to win MVP. We're going to talk about that a little later. And I think that's a big reason why this was so difficult for me, because you're having guys who are either putting up, like Kawhi Leonard was a good example. I didn't know where to put Kawhi Leonard, where to fit him. He's putting up our superstar requirement of 25, 5, and 5, right? And I don't know, it didn't really feel like he was first team to me. So there were a few guys like that where their stats say one thing, but at the end of the day, there were so many guys with good stats that it was difficult.
Yeah.
But let's start with the first team. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let's start with the first team. Let's start with guards. Do we all have the chef?
Oh, yes.
Do we all have the chef?
I do.
Yeah.
We all have Steph Curry?
No, I was wondering if you were gonna put Steph Curry in because of his team's record.
Yeah.
But for me, the reason I have Steph Curry is because obviously I kind of cocky too. I'm not gonna lie, he's probably my favorite player to watch.
Right.
So that's kind of why. But I personally think this is his best season ever.
Wow. Okay.
So a lot of people gave him grief about always, having these great seasons, but you played with some of the best players ever.
Sure.
And people felt like he couldn't do shit like this without having his team stacked. Because in reality, you look at it, he is a small guard, and Klay Thompson helps a lot in bringing off some pressure. So. And obviously, I think that Toronto series kind of exposed him a little bit because
that's
of the
what I was going to say,
and being able to stop him that easily.
And it left a bad taste in everybody's mouth.
Yeah,
in terms of can Steph really do this and lead a team and put up the numbers, or was it all just like right place, right time, right system, whole shebang bang?
Exactly. Yeah, but he literally and I've made this point throughout the year too. He is literally to me, I think this is his best season ever, but. If let's say if his team had 50 wins, he would easily be MVP. There would be no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And we're the only reason, we'll get to the MVP thing later. But he's averaging more points. He's averaging 31, 6, and 6. That's like MJ shit.
Right.
And he's a fucking 6'3" guard with a shit team. He literally has dog shit that he's playing with right now.
Word.
Doesn't have a real second option, and there's no way in hell he wasn't going to be in my first team.
Yeah, and this is something that you've been talking about even in the preseason. You were like, "I want this guy. I'm excited to see this guy."
Oh yeah.
Are you? Did I guess you saying this was his best season? I assume this lived up to your expectations.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Oh my god, he had multiple 60-point games.
Yeah.
Come on, he wilded the fuck out. He had. In this season alone, he has this. No one else has put up, I think, more than 5, 10 plus 3-point made games, whatever. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
And he's got double or triple that.
Yeah, he did 6 this season alone. Yeah. Insane. There's no way that he's just a freaking monster.
In terms of MVP. He can't be the MVP. He just can't. I'm sorry. It sets a bad precedent.
Of course, yeah.
He might be in consideration for stat sheet stuffer supreme, all things considered. But he's having an awesome year. I can't get that away from him. And the last time I looked at it, the Warriors were in 10th. They're in the 8th seed now.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I haven't seen the new playing format yet. So in my head, hitting the 8th seed makes a big deal. It is a big difference.
That's a fact. And preseason, in the preseason, I remember predicting them being 6.
Yep.
And that was because I was expecting people to perform at a specific level. I expected this from him, obviously, but I expected his teammates to perform a little better.
Right.
And they haven't given him shit. So, but I feel like if they did do at least a little bit of what I performed, maybe they would have had more of a shot. And I think him being 6th seed probably would have gotten him MVP.
Yeah,
he would have been the only.
I think you would have had I think it would have been a much more intense argument.
Yeah.
Than what it ends up being. But he is leading the league in points per game, right? He's leading the league in points per game, just squeaking it out against Bradley Beal, which is crazy because Bradley Beal was leading it all season, right?
Yeah. And he played 59 games, which a lot of people were
amount.
being able to be, durable.
So you got Steph Curry in here. He is 14th in effective field goal percentage, but he's the only guard anywhere in this conversation.
Yeah.
Which just want to point that out. That's how incredibly efficient he's been this year.
Yeah.
To be a guy who shoots freaking 12 threes per game and 61% effective field goal, that's wild.
And he's almost averaging 50, 40, 90.
Yeah.
When his team is because you usually don't expect that because obviously he has to chuck more and he's the offense. So,
but even after the All-Star break, he was averaging almost 50, 90.
Yeah.
It was insane.
He had like a 2-week span where he was averaging I think it was like a month span where he was averaging like 40 points or some shit like that. That's what kind of made him dip up.
Yeah, look at this. This is insane. Just lapping the competition.
Yeah.
In terms of what he's able to do. Last thing. Oh wait, Lindsay, what do you think about Steph Curry? Why is Steph Curry make it for you?
Oh, just because he's really good and fun to watch, and it's just been interesting to see. Shut up! I don't want to hear it. It's just been interesting to see the fact that he's still able to score that way when you can't hold the argument that he has someone that's taking the defense away from him, like Kevin Durant or something.
You want to fill in Dario in the audience as to why I'm smiling?
Because I'm a Clippers fan and you're a dick rider.
Not only that, but Steph Curry during this whole Clippers run was like your arch nemesis. Like when Lob City was happening, oh my God, Curry used to absolutely
I can't hold that
Chris
against
Paul
him.
and break his soul.
Yeah, but whatever. It'd be stupid not to watch him and enjoy it because he's good at basketball.
It's just cool to see you turn the corner.
That's the right way to watch basketball, Lindsay.
I agree.
I hate that I hated LeBron for 10 years because it made me miserable while watching when I should have just been enjoying the game.
Yeah, Am I still crushed that that happened? Absolutely, but I'm gonna still watch it.
As you should, which is fine.
Was there a certain point this season, Lynn, where you flipped the switch?
Oh, I don't think it was even this season. I think it just it became more prominent this season, but I started liking him before then.
Yeah, she never based off of my vibes from her over the course of the podcast. She's never given me Steph Curry hater vibes.
Oh man, when we were watching because the Clippers and Warriors were at each other's throats for so long.
Yeah.
And it was just a foregone conclusion that Steph was going to absolutely eliminate Chris Paul based on the simple thought of Steph Curry's 6'3", Chris Paul cannot get up to contest the shot. He just can't physically. Mm-hmm. And if you can't do that, it's a good game for you, especially for that Steph and this Steph now. Yeah. It's with the ultimate green light, crazy. So it's really interesting to hear you say that. My other guard in the first team, and I think we all have different guards. Or you guys, I know one of you has Luka. Do you guys both have Luka?
I have Luka, and it was very
okay. So let's talk about him.
Yeah, for me, it was very close between the two.
Yeah,
and I think I've mentioned this before. Whenever I think, and it might have been for MVP or whatever, but whenever I think about two guys being super close, then I gotta start nitpicking on some bullshit. So Luka's team have, obviously having a better record
right
the year. Obviously Luka was better all around, and so that's kind of what leaned me toward Luka, and the fact that I'm a fan of him is. But I also really like Dame too, so that's why it was so hard. And I was like in my second team, I say I have a note here, and I just say it was a tough spot because I really wish I could have just put Dame as a forward or some shit because I didn't want to take him out of the first team, but it was literally a coin flip. I probably should have just flipped the coin and picked.
Here's Lindsay, why'd you pick Luka actually before I talk about Dame?
Probably a little bit of bias, but just because the numbers are there and then the record's a little bit there.
Right.
My bad.
Yeah.
Another thing that I really liked about Luka this year, because I this is something that I kind of wanted to look at during the year. He's obviously his efficiency has went up a bit.
Sure.
He has less volume and more efficiency,
mm-hmm.
and I wanted to see that in his career only because last year, like everyone looked at him as like a good 3-point shooter, but he was shooting like 31% from the field, from
Yeah.
3-point, and now he's at like 36. He's shot 48% from the field. Like that stuff was another thing. Like I'm just kind of putting my expectations up there, and I really did think Dame was gonna average 30 plus this year.
Yeah.
And he didn't. So that kind of him kind of tampering my expectations, and then Luka exceeding them kind of made my decision a little bit too.
So here's why I ended up doing what I did. I picked Dame over Luka. I did that because we were on this show during the first few weeks of the season talking about Luka being out of shape, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Mavs underperforming. Now, they ended up turning it around. Luka's obviously had a good season, right? But this was a guy who was supposed to win the MVP this year, right? You had him as your MVP
to
start this year, correct?
He was supposed to.
So, but you weren't alone. You weren't alone. You weren't alone in that thought. There were lots of people who thought he was going to be the MVP.
I agree. But in terms of betting odds too, like he was like 4th or 5th for MVP.
I thought he was 2nd. We'll have to look it up. It'll be on your screen.
Yeah.
I know he's probably lower now, but I look at a guy in Damian Lillard whose clutch numbers are through the roof, right? He had no CJ McCollum for a really long majority of the season. He was the only guy, and this was my favorite part about Dame Lillard. For the first 3 quarters, he would have like pedestrian numbers, and they usually losing going into the 4th, and then by the end of the fucking game, he'd have over 30 at least, right? A bunch of threes, and they'd win the game by like a few points. He's the most clutch player in the league right now. He's the scariest guy with the ball in his hands in the 4th quarter. And he turned me into a really big fan this year because I thought he was just a cheap Steph Curry. I really thought that for a long time. And I've just seen, yes, he's had big game winners in the playoffs, but outside of that, he's also had moments in the playoffs that are not great. This is the same guy who's also completely shut down by Drew Holiday when he was on the Pelicans that one year in the playoffs. Like, it's not all rainbows for this guy. And he's been phenomenal this year, and he deserves this first team, in my opinion. Yes, he's got a few less wins, but I just think in terms of what I expected him to do this season, which this is what I factor into it. He exceeded my expectations, where Luka, I don't know if that's the case. Like, he was still good, but I don't know. I can't say he overperformed. I would probably say he underperformed, but that's tough to say considering he's still, turned it around, did pretty good. But that's why I picked Dame.
Yeah, the CJ McCollum being gone for a couple of games did kind of made me lean towards Dame a little bit, but then I remember Porzingis was out for like 20 games too. So
True.
It kind of, to me, that kind of evened itself out.
Yeah,
it literally, I'm not mad at anybody putting Dame over Luka. Like, I'm not mad at that. The one I would have just been flipping about was Steph Curry. If people do not have Steph Curry in the first team, they're on drugs.
I think if he was still in that 10th spot, I think you would see a lot more of that. I really believe that. But fortunately, he's able to get a few more wins to end this year, which is it's going to help his case a lot.
Yeah.
It's going to help his case a lot. So, CJ McCollum played 41 games. He did play more games than I thought. What did he finish at? Because in the beginning of the year, he was averaging 30, like before the injury.
Oh, yeah.
He was playing phenomenal. So that's true. I think. And then Luka.
Oh, wait, you talking about Dame was averaging 30?
No. Well, Dame was averaging 30 for a little bit, but McCollum was averaging close to 30 before he got hurt this season. Like, he was playing.
I remember thinking, I was like, he's putting up superstar numbers right now.
For sure. I gotta find. I just want to see how many games this guy played. Kristaps.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I thought CJ played like 30 games, but played more. So yeah, Kristaps, same thing, 40 games. That's interesting. So it is very similar for sure.
Yeah.
That's tough, dude. Yeah,
That's what. Like literally, that was a fight. Like literally, like I had to note it on my second team. I was like, it was just like.
Yeah, I want to see because they must have went on a huge win streak.
Luka had more points, rebounds, and assists than Dame. He played probably just as efficient.
I just want to reward Damian Lillard for all the good shit that he provided me.
Yeah,
just watching him.
It was like for me, it was not really easy for me to just say Luka. Like I was like, because I'm like Dame did really good this year. But I really did expect Dame to average 30 this year. Yeah,
he was well on his way too.
Yeah.
But let's see, Luka during this winning streak, 38. Yeah, this is I feel the same way you do. I feel like it could go either way.
You can't be mad at either pick.
I just feel like I didn't see enough Luka on television. But I mean, I have league pass, so that's kind of throws off what I see on TV and what I don't.
Yeah.
But I just feel like Dame was like front page news for this year in comparison. But I mean, like you said, the stats are there, and he's gonna end up with more wins most likely. Yeah, Mavericks are all the way in the 5th spot, so he might end up getting that first team over Dame. You're probably right.
And it's just the only thing about because Dame's team is good. Like that's another like in my mind, I'm looking at because I don't see Portland and Dallas being that much different talent-wise.
Sure.
So for me to look at that was like there was, I don't want to seem like I'm shitting on Dame, but it was just like, at what point does Portland become really good? Like they should, like they have the talent there.
Yeah.
Like
this is honestly one of the fewer seasons where one of these seasons that they didn't finish above a top 5 record. They usually finish in that top 4, top 5.
But they were 3rd at one point.
Season. No, I'm not disagreeing with that either.
So that's why I'm like, I was expecting them like, oh my god, I was like, is this in a regular? I was like, why is he chucking from half court? Unnecessary, and he looked like it's so normal. I know but for me, it's just like this, and this is the season where he should have. You know what I mean? Like you got Steph has a horrible team. Freaking LeBron and AD were out for most of the season.
Everybody and their mother gets hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, like everybody and their mother was hurt. Like this was your chance. Like your team was relatively healthy besides CJ.
Yeah.
Like you had more than enough opportunities to take advantage of that.
All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about the forwards. Do we all have Giannis?
C.
Yes.
C. The freak of Greece.
Yeah. Like Giannis has been so low key this year, and I
feel like if he had not just won 2 MVPs, it wouldn't be that way. I really do.
Well, I really did. I think, and it's funny because I forgot who tweeted it, but they said someone was saying why isn't Giannis talked about more for MVP, and they said because the voters had put it in their mind before the season even started that he can't win MVP because of his last 2 postseasons and him winning 2 MVPs.
Yep.
And it's like it's
that's exactly the reason.
Because even me, when I was looking at Giannis, and that was kind of my bias towards it too. Because it's like, bro, like you're doing this and that's nice, but like you're not gonna win nothing like that, and it shouldn't be like that at all. But
because it's a regular season award, these are all regular season things, and like that's why even when we look back historically, this reminds me. You know what this reminds me of? Karl Malone. Karl Malone was a guy who won 2 MVPs, right? It was a little different point in his career, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people questioned both of the MVPs. Both of them.
Well, yeah, that's because one of them he shouldn't have gotten.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and it kind of happened with Giannis, too. But.
That's what I'm saying. It's very similar. It reminds me of Karl Malone.
I just got to throw shade at Karl Malone because fuck him. Ever. If we become like, if we, for whatever reason, blow up and Karl Malone ever listens to this podcast, I want you to 100% know, fuck you. I don't give a shit if you're 6'10" or whatever. Fuck you. And you stupid ass kids if you got them.
And that's all. But look at this. Giannis, 28, 11, and 6. A steal and a block a game. Let's look at his previous MVP seasons. Because they're not going to be very different.
Defensively, I think it might be a little bit.
Maybe in defensive plus minus by a hair, but like, so 28, 11, and 6.
Oh, no, it's actually the same.
29, 13, and 5.5. It's the same. He's put up the same these last 3 years, right?
Really, last 4.
But
Yeah.
that's the issue.
I was going to say that, but I'm not trying to hop on and ride. You know?
Yeah, we could be legit. The only thing, all right. So let's be real. Well, for one thing, and I know we're gonna have the same discussion later, but I just want to bring it up now because I can think of it.
Yeah.
Is Giannis exceeding your expectations? What is the word for non-exceeding? Non-exceeding your expectations?
Yeah, there you go.
Just right there. What is it for you, Russ? Because I want to know this.
This is exactly in the middle for me, by definition, because he's right where he's supposed to be in the standings, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's right in the mix. He's one of those people who hasn't hit 60 games like everybody else in this fucking year, outside of the Joker. And that's where that under the radar shit has been coming from. I'm happy that he averaged 3 more minutes per game. Yeah. And it's the most he's averaged in 3 seasons. Yeah. But like, I don't know.
Because that's the thing is like you asked for more minutes and they gave him more minutes and he didn't do more. Yeah,
but it's like there's also the situation of the season. This was a weird season. Like if it was 82 games, I'd probably feel a different kind of way about it because it would have been separated more. Like I think it was hard to justify in hindsight because I didn't say this ever, but I think in hindsight, considering what we know now and how all these guys got hurt, they probably shouldn't have given him the minutes. But I wouldn't have said that previously. But considering everybody got hurt and it felt like it was a minefield this whole fucking season because of how all the back-to-backs were and how everything was, that's what made me think about him for MVP again. Was like, because that was not my plan. But when I was doing the research for this first team, I was like, the guy's doing. Yeah. He's hitting. He's got all the check marks. Every box, he's checked it off. You're in the top 3. You're in a rare statistical category. Like you have a lot of stats. You obviously led your team. You're good on both sides of the ball. Yeah. Like
you want to know what's funny? And I just want you to know this because I don't think I've ever told you this. When you talk about Giannis, it's literally exactly how you feel about me talking about Kobe. I just want to let you know that.
Hey, remember what you just said about Lindsay with Steph Curry. This is exactly how I feel about Giannis. It's the same thing.
Huh?
Just because I hated LeBron growing up, I'm not missing it twice. I'm not missing this LeBron thing twice. It's not happening.
Which I'm okay with.
But now I think he's more of Shaq than LeBron. But I've made that claim more than once on this show. Let's see. But we all have him for first team.
Correct? I think the next 2, I'm assuming they're unanimous. But I'm not sure. I didn't really look at you guys' picks, but I got Joker and Embiid.
You have 2 centers? You can't have 2 centers.
Joker ain't the power forward. Ain't a power forward.
He's a center.
Absolutely not. Pure center. Pure 5.
Sure?
But let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about that for a second though, because Lindsay wanted to do that.
Yeah, I was so upset about that.
Why wouldn't you guys tell me that? I didn't even click on it because I thought easily. I'm like, Joker's a center. I mean, a power forward.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't even.
Nikola Jokić, big C.
Click on him though.
It says center only.
When you click on him?
Yeah. He's not even and I'm going to get this screenshot now, but I don't even think he's a power forward in 2K. Like a slash. I'll have to check it. I'll get the screenshot. It'll be on your screen.
All right. So I got to switch it up then. Oh, you know what? No.
Let's talk about it though. Let's talk about it because that's who it's going to be. It's going to be Embiid or Joker for that center spot.
Yeah.
But who are you?
So automatically for me it's gonna be Joker.
Okay.
Because I mean, is that I don't even think that for one. So between Joker and Embiid,
Yeah,
I think they're the two best big men in the league right now. So that was my main thing. I guess now between them that is in my mind. But Embiid obviously missing 20 plus games kind of takes him out of the first for all NBA first team.
right.
And Joker pretty much almost averaging a triple double for most of the year, or at least half the year he was averaging a triple double, which is insane. And his second option for the team left. It was out with an ACL injury, right?
Yeah, but let's be real. He wasn't playing to our standards before that point.
Which is fine, but he still was their second. Like that team went with both him and with Jamal Murray and the Joker. Like that was how the team was supposed to be run.
I mean, okay, I agree that it was how it was supposed to be run, but I think at some point during this year they were like, Porter's our guy.
Yeah.
In terms of the second guy.
Okay.
I definitely, because that's why they continued to play well after Murray left. But I know what you're saying. I definitely think.
Well, I think Porter got more. I think when you oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
That's some Larry Bird shit. Like
that's
like straight up out of Larry Bird.
Out of his playbook.
Yeah. So
out of his manual.
But I think I not to get into freaking the Denver Nuggets in general, but I think Porter, he's better with more volume. Like I think.
Oh, for sure, I can agree with that.
And I think that's what makes him better. So him being able not having to share those extra shots, like that helps him a lot.
Yeah. So nasty year.
And Joker was just like he's I don't know. I think it's just.
You want to talk about a guy who's exceeding expectations?
Oh,
or at least my expectations. I didn't know he was. I guess I did know he was this good, but like. He's the best big man passer I've ever seen. And it's not that close. Like, that's what this season proved for me. I knew he was top 5, maybe top 3. Now it's not even close. He's the greatest big man passer and the greatest passing center I've ever seen. And I feel like he's got it by a mile now. He's a beast. He is. He can do everything on offense. He can literally do everything.
Yeah.
Pass, shoot, get inside, dunk on people, like, and he does it with that slow, methodical style.
Yeah,
and also one of the best pump fakes in the game.
Yeah, the thing that I like about him a lot, like offensively, is he uses other people's athleticism against them.
Oh yeah,
like because he's so unathletic, people think that they can use their athleticism as an advantage. And he always takes advantage of that, like with his pump fakes and his kind of shiftiness. Like it's like the slight little jab steps and shit like that kind of help him.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And that, like we've been saying through this part, he is this era's Larry Bird right now. Like this is, if you want proof. Because I know that it was difficult for me, especially when we did it, when we were talking about Larry Bird's hypotheticals, putting Larry Bird in 2020. If you want proof that Larry Bird can play in 2020 and dominate in 2020, there it is.
Yeah.
You're looking at it. The Joker is what he would be. Yep. For sure.
I agree.
Lindsay, you don't have Joker on the first team.
Well, yeah, but I really wanted him there. I really,
You're riding
really
or dying with Joel.
Yeah, I am. I'm ride or die with Joel.
I like it.
Nah, that's ill. You know what you're doing? That's your take integrity shit. But you wanna know why? Because you have him as breakout. If not, you would not be saying that. There's no way you can put him. That's crazy. That's some hate shit. Like you can't do that. That's crazy.
I can do whatever the fuck I want. It's my list.
I love it.
I just needed to call you out on that because that's crazy. Like my man, literally a fourth of the season less, more than a fourth of the season less.
Right now he's at like what?
You know what
50
happens?
games played?
You're exactly right. If he wins MVP, we're gonna have to give breakout player of the year to Lindsay because she said it. Asshole.
Ooh, if Joel Embiid wins MVP?
Yeah.
If Joel Embiid wins MVP, then that's it. She'll win that award.
Because that was the argument made.
That's
fake ass award.
I'm good on my pick.
No, I really wanted Jokic in there, but because I couldn't, I put Randle in the other forward position.
So that was the
that's what you want. All right. I love the little. You did a nice little smooth segue into that. I like that.
Thank you.
Lindsay.
I'm an asshole, but not totally.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate that. You want to know why? Because once I don't know if y'all noticed, but when y'all said that I couldn't have both Embiid and Jokic, I started smiling a little bit because that was immediately what I thought. I was like, ooh, I get to push my little narrative here. So Julius Randle would be in my spot for first team all NBA. My man's averaged 20, I think 24, 25, 10, and 6 throughout the whole season.
Yeah, dude.
And he literally, I think Tibby is a big reason for the Knicks' success.
For sure.
But they have a star that's clearly, he's clearly the guy. He's the star. And they brought the Knicks from being a shithole. We didn't even expect the Knicks to have 20 wins this season. If you go back to our preseason previews, we had the Knicks at less than 20 wins. So they completely exceeded expectations. They made Russell a Knicks fan.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And as I'm saying this, Russell will put his little meme that he sends to the group chat every single time. and literally, the Knicks are so dope that they brought out Dipset. Like we got to mention that. Cameron, Jim Jones, and Joel Santana did a whole freestyle acapella in the Knicks stadium on the illest gangster Dipset shit. So he definitely is first team All NBA. Fuck that.
I have no idea what that is.
The biggest reason
I should have worn my freaking Dipset flag out
above all else. The biggest reason I had Randle on my first team is because he turned me into a Knicks fan this year. I watched more Knicks games this season than I've watched in my life. Yeah. And it's because this guy is a savage.
Yeah.
What'd you say, sorry?
I said, and you don't understand. He hates the Knicks.
Like, yeah, Russell, I hate the Knicks.
Like, every time he gets a chance, he shits on them.
You all in the YouTube world don't even know that because I haven't had any opportunities to shit on them.
Yeah.
I've had no opportunities. They do everything I want that a basketball team does. Play hard, have a guy that, like, Julius Randle is a guy I've been rooting for. I wanted the Celtics to take him on draft day, and he ended up a Laker. He broke his leg in his first fucking game.
Yeah, it was tight.
And it's just been this slow ascent for this guy.
Yeah.
He was playing pretty well on the Pelicans.
Eating him was because he was a Laker at one point, and he came to New York. So I'm like, you were a Laker, and you came to New York. I gotta show you love. Crazy.
But he's amazing. He hit 60 this year, right? He had a 60-point game this year. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
I'm gonna check. I think his high was 60.
I feel like it was like 50 something.
I know it was in the Garden. You could be right.
If he put 60, he definitely, because I have him. And when we get into MVP, I don't know if we're doing our top 5s for MVP. Are we doing top 5s for MVP? Or we just
3 or 5? I'm not sure.
But
but go ahead. Do you think he deserves votes?
Huh?
Do you think he deserves votes?
Yeah, he's in my for sure. I think he's in my top 5 for MVP.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like,
but strictly because his
44, double 44. I'm an idiot. He did not have 60.
Okay, I thought he might have had a 50-point game, but
yeah, me too. I don't know why I thought that.
But he had like a monster 40, I think.
Yeah, it was nasty.
Yeah, and my whole shit with him is like him ascending to this level plus the new coach.
Yeah,
changed that organization. Like,
yeah,
that's my whole thing. Is that's like once they got that superstar that they could kind of work around, yeah, I'm with it.
So if I'm Atlanta,
yeah,
I do not want to see the Knicks in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. I think they're gonna make it at least to the second round. And if you told me that they could make the Eastern Conference Finals, I'd be surprised. But considering how they played, like these are the types of teams that sneak through. We saw what Miami did last year.
The Knicks as a second round out person.
Yeah, but a tough one.
Yeah, I want to say I thought that in the middle of the season too, but
like if they draw Milwaukee in the second round, I don't know if they will. I don't think that's how it works. But if
they wouldn't. They'd face Philly.
Right, that's a tougher matchup for them. But imagine if they had Milwaukee, like.
If Embiid get tummy aches, nigga, I swear to God, you better not play with Julius Randle.
Yeah,
let him get tummy aches. And yo, time out, Lindsay. This is a breakout. I swear to God, you better not let your man get tummy aches. Because if my man is whooping your man's ass with his tummy aches and shit, you hearing it for no reason too. You hearing that?
Yeah, for real. But
that was so aggressive. No, it's okay.
But I
fucking makes me gangster, you know, like that's the shit, man.
I love Julius Randle. I don't know if I love the Knicks. I'm not ready to say that, but I love Julius Randle and I love what's going on in New York now. Cue Kermit jumping off a cliff.
That was so, that was so fucked up because like he had a man wide open. He said, "Nah, I'm dribbling this shit out and chucking this three real quick." Fuck that.
But that completes the first team. So our first team is Curry, either Lillard or Luka, right? Giannis, Randle, and then Joker is pretty much what we're thinking.
Yeah. Or if Lindsay wants to push a narrative, Embiid.
I will push this narrative up a mountain.
Up a cliff.
Off the cliff, yes.
Off the cliff,
and let us know what y'all think. Tell me your first all NBA teams. We'll listen. Might not talk to y'all. Maybe we would. Depends. We love y'all.
We might not talk back. Maybe we will if we think your opinion's interesting, but most of the time we won't. Fucking guys. Anyway.
Be nice, please.
But